آقا ہے تم ہو پیاسے راج دلارے، خواب میں شاید پانی آئے سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، بچے کو لوری سنائے سو جا، سو جا سوئی نہیں ہے کب سے مادر میرے دل بر، چین ملے گا تم کو سلا کر پیارے اصغر، مادر کو بھی چین آ جائے سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، بچے کو لاج دلارے سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، پھیر رہے ہو تم ہونٹوں پر خشک زباں کو، یوں نہ تڑ پاؤ اے دلبر اپنی ماں کو، کس طرح وہ پانی لائے سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، بچے کو لوری سنائے سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، جلتی ریت پہ سویا بیٹا ماں تکتی تھی، جھولے کو بھی جلتا دیکھا کیسے سوتی، راکھ پہ بیٹھی یہ دوہرائے سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، بچے کو لوری سنائے سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، بس یہی نوحہ پڑھتی تھی آجا اصغر، دیکھ کے اپنی خالی گودی تیری مادر، دوہراتی تھی ہائے ہائے سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، سو جا اصغر سو جا، بچے کو لوری سنائے سو جا، مقتل کا ازلان ہے منظر، تیر لگا ہے، شہ نے کھودی قبر اصغر، سب کو پتا ہے، باپ یہی کہہ کے دفنائے جا سو جا اصغر سو جا سو جا اصغر سو جا بچے کو لوری سنائے سو جا سو جا اصغر سو جا سو جا اصغر سو جا سو جا اصغر سارے سو جا چلے ہیں رخصت آخر کو سید والا ہے غش میں عابد مضطر حسین ہے تنہا اٹھے جو غش سے تو دیکھا حسین کا چہرہ ہے چور زخموں سے شبیر کا بدن سارا یہ پوچھا اکبر و عباس ہے کہاں بابا حسین روتے رہے اور صرف اتنا کہا سجا نہ تیرا بھائی رہا سجا نہ میرا بھائی رہا سجا نہ تیرا بھائی رہا سجا نہ میرا بھائی رہا سینا کلیجے پہ کھائی ہے تیرے بھائی نے ہے دونوں ہاتھ جدا رنگ میں میرے بھائی کے ستم یہ ہے میرا اصغر بھی مر گیا پیاسا نہ تیرا بھائی رہا سجا نہ میرا بھائی رہا سجا نہ تیرا بھائی رہا سجا 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 وہ میرے نانا کی تصویر وہ میرا اکبر میں جس کو دیکھ کے جیتا تھا وہ میرا دلبر اٹھا کے کاندھوں پہ لایا ہوں اس کا میں لاشا نہ تیرا بھائی رہا سجا نہ میرا بھائی رہا سجا نہ تیرا بھائی رہا سجا نہ سجا وہ میرا زور سید سجاد نے میرے بابا دو اذن مجھ کو کروں جا میں اپنی تم پہ فدا کلیجہ پھٹتا ہے سن کر تمہارا یہ نوحہ حسین بول سہے میں نے دل پہ یہ صدمے اٹھائے آن محمد حبیب کے لاشے ہوئے ہیں قاسم نوشاہ مجھ پہ ہوئی بھی فدا سن کے دیر تلک روئے سید سجاد یہ مرثیات تھا لبوں پر ہوئے ہیں ہم برباد لہو رلاتا ہے بابا یہ آپ کا کہنا حسین جاتے ہیں سجاد اب خدا حافظ حرم تمہارے حوالے ہے رب تیرا حافظ رضائے رب ہے یہی رن میں اب میرا جانا حسین رن میں ہے زخموں سے چور چور بہت نہ کوئی ناصر و یاور وطن ہے دور بہت ظہور شہر نے کہا جی کہ اب کروں میں کیا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، شمر کو روکے کوئی، شمر کو روکے کوئی دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، عصر عاشور قیامت کا ہے منظر، ہائے سینہ شاہ پہ بیٹھا ہے ستمگر، ہائے اور قیامت یہ کھڑی دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، آئی آواز یہ مقتل میں کسی مادر کی، ریش چہرے سے نہیں نوچ میرے دل بھر کی، یہ ستم کرنا شقی دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، آمد شہ پا محمد کو ملی تھی جو خبر، ہائے تڑپی تھی جسے فاطمہ زہرا سن کر، آ گئی ہے وہ گھڑی دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، بھائی کو خون میں تر دیکھ نہیں پائے گی، خاک اڑاتے ہوئے مقتل میں بکھر جائے گی، جو نہ دیکھا ہے کبھی دیکھ رہی ہے زینب، گردن شہ پا چھری دیکھ رہی ہے زینب۔
صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد. علی Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is Monday, the 8th of August 2022, the eve of the 10th of Muharram 1444. We'll begin the program with the recitation of the Holy Quran by Brother Maitham Ghulam Hussain. Please welcome him with the salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإن منهم لفريقا يلوون ألسنتهم بالكتاب لتحسبوه من الكتاب وما هو من الكتاب ويقولون هو من عند الله وما هو من عند الله ويقولون على الله الكذب وهم يعلمون ما كان لبشر أن يؤتيه الله الكتاب والحكم والنبوة ثم يقول للناس كونوا عبادا لي من دون الله ولكن كونوا ربانيين بما كنتم تعلمون الكتاب وبما كنتم تدرسون ولا يأمركم أن تتخذوا الملائكة والنبيين أربابا أيأمركم بالكفر بعد إذ أنتم مسلمون وإذ أخذ الله ميثاق النبيين لما آتيتكم من كتاب وحكمة ثم جاءكم رسول مصدقا لما معكم لتؤمنن به ولتنصرنه قال أقررتم وأخذتم على ذلكم إصري قالوا أقررنا قال فاشهدوا وأنا معكم من الشاهدين فمن تولى بعد ذلك فأولئك هم الفاسقون أفغير دين الله يبغون وله أسلم من في السماوات والأرض طوعا وكرها وإليه يرجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Ahsan, we'll continue the program, but before we do, there's lots of space at the front, and to reduce any disruption later on, please move as far forward as you can from now with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ahsan, thank you. We'll have Marthia by Brother Ali Jawad Hansraj, followed by Brother Azgar Ali Jafar and Brother Abbas Ali Rajbali. Please welcome them all with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Tonight we remember the 6-month-old Babul Hawaj Ali Adghar. For the acceptance of our zikr tonight, please recite a louder salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. آج کی رات تجھے گودی میں سلا لوں میرے اصغر آجا آج کی رات تجھے گودی میں سلا لوں میرے اصغر آجا لوری ارمانوں سے بھرپور سنا دوں میرے اصغر راجا آج کی رات تجھے گودی میں سلا لوں میرے اصغر راجا تیر کے آگے میرے لال تجھے ہونا ہے دیکھ کر تیری ہنسی ظلم نے بھی رونا ہے جو طریقے ہیں لڑائی کے سکھا دوں میرے اصغر راجا
آج کی رات تجھے گودی میں سلا لوں میرے اصغر راجا، تجھ کو ایک بار دفن بابا تیرے کر دیں گے، پھر تجھے نیز سقیفہ کے وہاں ڈھونڈیں گے، دشت کی گرم ہواؤں سے چھپا لوں میرے اصغر راجا، آج کی رات تجھے گودی میں سلا لوں میرے اصغر راجا، تیری معصوم سکینہ کو پلا کر پانی، کل تیری پیاس بجھائے گا علی کا ثانی، میں تجھے دیکھ کے پیاس اپنی بجھا لوں میرے اصغر راجا، آج کی رات تجھے گودی میں سلا لوں میرے اصغر راجا، پیاس اصغر کی جو دیکھی تو اٹھی ایک بکا، ہائے یہ شام غریباں میں سکینہ نے کہا، ہو کے پابند تجھے پانی پلا لوں میرے اصغر راجا، آج کی رات تجھے گودی میں سلا لوں میرے اصغر راجا، ہے تو آخر کو وہ ماں کہتا ہے زائر کا یقین، ڈھونڈتی ہوگی اسے رو رو کے راہوں میں کہیں، کہتی ہوگی کہ تیرے ناز اٹھا لوں میرے اصغر راجا، آج کی رات تجھے گودی میں سلا لوں میرے اصغر راجا،
صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد۔
صلوا علی محمد و آل محمد۔ ایک اور صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد۔ آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، میرے لاڈلے کہا ہو
میرے لاڈلے کہاؤ سینے تمہیں لگاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں تیرے جھولے کو سکینہ رو رو کے چومتی ہے تجھے رن میں ڈھونڈتی ہے تیری موت کی خبر میں کیسے اسے سناؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں بیٹا تمہارا قاتل میرے سامنے کھڑا ہے جانے کیوں ہنس رہا ہے چادر بھی لٹ گئی ہے منہ کس طرح چھپاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں نیزے سے گر رہا ہے ننھا سا سر تمہارا دل روتا ہے ہمارا میرے ہاتھ تو بندھے ہیں سر کس طرح اٹھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں جب رات ہوگی رن میں ہو جائے گا اندھیرا ڈرنا نہیں بیٹا دادی کہے گی تم سے آ میں تجھے سلاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں تم رات کو ہمیشہ سنتے تھے ماں کی لوری اب نیند آتی ہوگی پھر گود میں لٹا کر ناد علی سناؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں میری جان جا رہی ہے یہ سوچ سوچ اصغر اس پھول سے گلے پر یہ تیر کیسے جھیلا بہنوں کو کیا بتاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں میرے لاڈلے کہاؤ میرے لاڈلے کہاؤ लगाऊं, असगर में तेरी माँ हूँ। आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं, असगर में तेरी माँ हूँ। तो रुपा मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद। Salawat. From the grave of that dear baby, from the grave of that dear baby, comes a voice calling so dearly. Oh mother, I'm so scared, where are you now? Please come to your sweet baby. Oh mother, I'm so scared, where are you now? Please come to your sweet baby. I remember your hands cradling me closely, mother, oh, holding me to your chest as you sung lullabies, mother. Now I'm burning in these hot sands, I'm burning in these hot sands. Where are your loving soft hands? Oh mother, I'm so scared, where are you now? Please come to your sweet baby. I remember the long burning thirst slowly killing me. Oh, your tears fell as your heart wrenched in pain, in such agony. By the 10th I had stopped moving, by the 10th I had stopped moving, till my father called Halmin. Oh mother, I'm so scared, where are you now? Please come to your sweet baby. I remember the warmth of father as he carried me, oh, to the soldiers to ask for water. This was his one plea, but they quenched my thirst with an arrow. They quenched my thirst with an arrow. They broke your heart with that bow. Oh mother, I'm so scared, where are you now? Please come to your sweet baby. I hear screams of the ladies pissing the night, oh mother. Oh, the hooves of the horses and the crackle of a fire. I hear my sister cry out, I hear my sister cry out, as her earrings are ripped out. Oh mother, I'm so scared, where are you now? Please come to your sweet baby. I hear the soldiers shouting so loud, searching for my grave. Oh, looking for my body, for my head to put on display. Why do they do this, mother? Why do they do helpless mother, why do we have to suffer? Oh mother, I'm so scared. Where are you now? Please come to your sweet baby. Please come to your sweet baby. Salawat.
Hassan, thank you all for those beautiful recitations. Brothers, as you know, tonight is a night of Ashura. We're expecting the largest crowd we've had so far. People are still coming in to the program, and there's lots of clusters of space. So we do need to fill them up by please standing up and moving just a few steps forward. So in the name of Imam Mahdi, Ajjallahu Farajah Sharif, please stand up and move as far forward as possible with 3 salawats ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers, please stand up at the back and move forward. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allah salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Hassan, thank you all for your cooperation. Your reward is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To continue, we'll have a speech about the Al Yazga water appeal by Brother Sheikh Abbas Merali. Please welcome him with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dearest elders, brothers and sisters. Azam Allah ujurana wa ujurakum bi musabina bil Hussein alayhi salam. May Allah make great our reward and your reward as we gather to commemorate the martyrdom of the Prince of Martyrs, Abu Abdullah alayhi salam. I start by offering my condolences to the Imam of our time on the tragedy of Karbala that we are here to commemorate. To commemorate the unimaginable oppression and dhulm carried out by the Bani Umayyah on the beloved family of the Prophet, which included the denying of water to the holy personalities and not even sparing a 6-month-old baby. Some of you may be aware that the partnership between WF Aid and Stanmore Jafris continues into its 4th year, thus enabling to pull our considerable resources and talents together to continue to augment and to raise to even higher standards the Al Yazga water appeal. I shall now provide a preamble on previous hour campaigns. Can I please request the AV team to bring up the slides and to focus your attention onto the screen. Some of you may have seen our campaign poster that has been plastered over social media and our channels over the last 10 nights. Can I ask you to please contribute if you haven't so far? If you move to the second slide. So a brief history on our previous campaigns. Over the last 3 years, Stanmore Jafris and primarily the members of this amazing community and the communities around the world has managed to raise in excess of £260,000. And this has not been possible without your support to therefore provide sustainable water solutions in areas that need it the most. With your generous contributions, we have dug wells and refurbished boreholes across East Africa. We have built a water desalination plant in Gaza in 2020 that delivered water to over 20,000 people a month. We constructed a water tank in Skardu in northern Pakistan that supports over 100 families to this day. We've built washrooms and submersible wells across the Indian subcontinent as well. Can I please request you all to recite a salawat for the great efforts that we've all had in putting this together. When we come together, we demonstrate the brilliance and what we can achieve when we combine as a community. More importantly, this also demonstrates the blessings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. If we can move to the third slide, please. So the current campaign in 2022, the sporting drives will be held between the 14th of August and the 11th of September, commencing with a ladies' ride for 62 kilometers in Birmingham. Inshallah, on the 27th of August, we will have the London 10K ladies walk. And sisters, please speak to Sister Sabiha Chakpar or Samina Govani, who are at the SJ Ladies Hour desk tonight for further information. On Sunday, the 28th of August, we will have the 100-kilometer gents bike ride. And please speak to Brother Imran Mamdani, who is at the gents hour desk tonight for further information. The last sportive for this year will be held on Sunday, the 11th of September, with participants running in the Richmond Half Marathon. Our fundraising target is set at 72,000, as it has been for the last few years. Alhamdulillah, currently we are on about £13,000. Next slide, please. So, the flagship project for 2022 is in an area called Nzavoni, which is in the former eastern province of Kenya. Their main economic activity is sisal farming. Some of you may be aware that sisal farming does not require a lot of water. However, the locals rely on water, which is only available 12 kilometers away and is very salty, thus not safe for drinking. We are inshallah hoping to install a solar-powered saline water desalination plant in the region. This will provide 2,000 liters per hour, which will inshallah serve over 300 families for 25 years. More importantly, it will allow the kids to attend school, as it's the kids of the area who currently walk the 12 kilometers to fetch the water. We are confident that just as in previous years, we will inshallah achieve both our sportive and fundraising targets, but we can only do this with your support. The spirit of the Hujjat support has been replicated globally with support from communities far and wide. The question some of you may ask is how to donate. Tonight there are desks both at the gents and ladies section outside the main hall and the ELC. Please donate generously, as surely giving on this night carries great reward. Alternatively, you can visit our website www.sjhub.org.uk/hour. Success of the previous campaign as well as this one cannot be achieved without the support of the Hujjat EC. They have continuously provided moral, financial, back-end support, as well as providing us with a platform tonight to promote the SJ Hour campaign. To our charity partners, WF Aid, for the setup and project management. To our sponsors, Bullsmore Dental and Tender Care Nursery. To the community, to every single one of you, for your generous contributions, encouragement, and unwavering support. 1400 years ago, on the day of Ashura, our Imam called out, Hal min Nasirin Yansurna, a cry not only for that particular day, but one for all mankind throughout the eras to come. At that point, there was only a 6-month-old who answered the call. Our Imam carried Ali ibn Askar into the battlefield during the heat of the day, placed him on the ground, and asked the enemy for some water to quench his thirst. Tonight, all of us have answered Imam's call by honoring the memory and the sacrifice, the trials, the tribulations that they faced by attending this majalis and performing azadari at our beloved center. Thousands more are answering this call across the world, millions more physically in Karbala tonight, crying out, Labbaika Ya Hussein. Inshallah, may all of us get the chance to visit the shrine of Abu Abdullah very soon. Brothers and sisters, whilst we are shedding our tears tonight, let us think of and act for the less fortunate people around the world. I humbly ask you all tonight, with the wasila of Ali ibn Askar, to help provide clean and sustainable water solutions to children and families who live in severe conditions and have no access to drinking water. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Awesome, thank you. Brothers, thank you for moving forward before I do appreciate it. There's no space at the front, I can see, but in the middle and at the back, there's a few pockets of space. If you could just shuffle forward, please, with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Awesome, thank you. Tonight's topic by Sheikh Salim Yusufali is lifestyle choices and a social media case study. Please welcome him with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين وسيد المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعن الله الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى قيام يوم الدين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Respected elders, brothers, sisters, we've gathered here on this very sad occasion of the night of Ashura. On this occasion, I would want to say, عَظَّمَ اللَّهُ أُجُورَنَا وَأُجُورَكُمْ بِمُصَابِنَا بِالْحُسَيْنِ. May Allah magnify your reward and our reward on account of our remembering the tragedies of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And may Allah make all of us among those who are part of the supporters and the companions of our Imam alayhi salam, Ajralallahu Farajahu Sharif, in order to hasten the reappearance of our Imam and to grant him solace in his heart, which is definitely burning at this time. Let us recite a beautiful united salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Before I begin my topic tonight, because tomorrow will be, inshallah, my last speeches, but tomorrow, because of the occasion, I won't have that much of an opportunity. Inshallah, I'll be focusing mostly on the maqtal. Just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the efforts of the community during these days. SubhanAllah, there's so much that goes on to put together these programs in terms of human power, setup, organization, funding, contributions, participation. It's quite an amazing event. And whether it be the people that we saw visibly or the people behind the scenes, whether it be the EC members or the reciters committee members, the AV team, all the different people who made this event possible, these events possible, the very patient sign language interpreters who really went out of their way to be able to provide services in such an amazing opportunity, in such an amazing way. All of you who have attended these programs, I really appreciate all your efforts. I want to thank you for them. And I pray that Allah rewards you for everything that you've done. And inshallah, your reward is with Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the Day of Judgment. Inshallah, as a way of acknowledging all the efforts of the participants, the volunteers, the organizers, the sponsors, let's recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I wanted to make a personal note as well, that during my time here, I've been so well taken care of, and mashallah, it's just been an amazing experience. You know, I made a comment on the first night. I didn't know how it would go. I said that don't treat me like a museum relic, but I'm a person. I'm not scary. You can come and talk to me, greet me, and just at least let's talk. And I found that, mashallah, people really took that to heart. it's a speaker's like dream come true when the mimbar is almost like the last thing that they do. The mimbar is more of like, now that they've had other interactions, now they're saying, what is it that's for general purpose? But the dream is that before the mimbar, that there's much interaction and you get to understand what is it that's actually going on in the lives of the believers. And during my time here, it's unprecedented in terms of the number of people who I've talked to, discuss things, issues, comments. Sometimes there were challenges to the things that we presented in the mimbar. But on the whole, there was engagement. Sometimes it happened in the parking lot, sometimes in Q&A sessions, sometimes in informal sessions, sometimes in people's homes. They were kind enough to open their homes to invite smaller groups where we would have more casual and personal interaction. And this was truly just exactly what, like I said, a speaker would want. So thank you to all of you who facilitated these types of interactions. May Allah reward you for everything. And especially for those of you who encouraged your children to come and at least shake hands and say salam. I really commend that, and please keep up that tradition, inshallah. And finally, I just wanted to say that during the course of these evenings, maybe sometimes a comment is made from the mimbar and it's made just in passing, and I'm not able to cover the full aspect of it, and somebody feels bad because they think that they're being targeted. Please, I'm your brother, on this night, I ask your forgiveness. Please do husn al-dhan, assume the best of whatever it was said. It wasn't made to call out anyone or to shame anyone. Sometimes when you give examples, people take it personally. They're like, are you talking about me? Did somebody tell you about me and my family? No, these were hypothetical examples. I was really trying to give advice that would, inshallah, be general purpose and be advice for everyone. So please take whatever is good that I've said and leave aside whatever was hurtful and bad. And inshallah, if you found anything good in what was said, then you can make, inshallah, make a dua for my teachers, who themselves learned from, of course, the teachings of the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Please recite one more salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, tonight is the night of Ashura. Tomorrow is a special day in the calendar, the day of Ashura. We know that there's some Muslims who take this day as a day of celebration and festivity and stocking up. But the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam told us that this is a day which is meant to be reserved for special etiquette and special practice and commemoration. In one narration of our 8th Imam, Imam Ar-Rida alayhi salam, he says that whoever leaves aside pursuing his needs of the world, of the dunya, on this day, Allah will take care of his needs of this world and the hereafter. And whoever dedicates this day to grief and mourning and shedding tears, Allah in return will give him a day of happiness in the hereafter. So we're encouraged on this day to not just follow our normal routine. If we're students, if we're working, we should try our best to make this be a day where we don't do the normal thing. There's another day for that. But we need to come together. We need to have that collective spirit of commemoration and learning and mourning. Now, one thing I want to mention is that when it comes to grieving, there's something in the modern society that we live in which sometimes says that being sad and being grieving and mournful, it's almost as if it's looked down upon. We're told that, let's say, for example, some tragedy happens and we're very sad about it. People are anxious for us to get better. And they're just like, it's kind of something where they push us, like, okay, enough already, right? Like, you've had some chance to cry about it. Okay, now we want you to get back to normal. And it's almost as if like it's wrong to be sad and to be grieved. Sometimes when we go to somebody's home when they've lost somebody, for example, somebody's gone on to the next life, then we don't even know what to tell them. We just tell them that, like, if you need anything, I'm there for you, right? Let me know. But what is needed at that time when we're grieving? Like if you just think back to like when you've had a tragedy, maybe a very like severe illness, or you've lost somebody, or something really tough has happened. Who is it that really sticks out for you, like now in your memory? It's not the person who told you that, hey, if you need anything, let me know. It's a person who actually came and they spent time with you. They said that, tell me, how is it going? Tell me about that person that you're missing. What do you miss about them? What was so beautiful about them? Why is it that they had such a place in your heart? It's that person who doesn't just come once, but it's that person who comes again and again. And they say that, look I'm here for you. I just want to spend some time. Anything you want to tell me, I'm here for you. That's what you call grieving. You grieve and you grieve together. So on the day of Ashura, which is supposed to be our day of grief, we need to make it be a communal affair of being together. Sometimes people have the wrong notion. They think that when I come to the Ashura gathering, I need to not look at anyone. I need to have my face cast down. I just need to participate in the gathering. And then when a certain time of the day, when I'm past that time, then I can just be back to normal again. That's not the spirit of grieving and mourning. The spirit of grieving and mourning is that we come together, we greet one another, we shake one another's hands, we say salam to one another, and we talk. We hug each other. This is the spirit of grieving together. This custom that is there in some cultures of not saying salam, or God forbid, not responding to salam, which is wajib, is, according to our maraja, is not something found in the religion. So let tomorrow be a day where we actually connect with another in ways that we don't at other times. In particular, there's something that we all know, that on the day of Ashura, we tend to see people that we don't see any other time of the year. And sometimes we blame them. We're like, look at this person, right? They only show up on Ashura. Alhamdulillah, they show up for Ashura, but where are they the rest of the year? Sometimes we need to ask ourselves that, what do we do to make sure that they will want to come the rest of the year? Do we go up to them and say that, brother, sister, how are you? Assalamu alaikum, how are you doing? My condolences to you, right? Where are you from? How's it going? This is what the Ahlul Bayt would want from us. Let's say we see somebody who looks a little bit different. Maybe they don't fit into the standard range of skin color or whatever. Right? This should be something which gives us even more motivation to go up and embrace them and say, welcome to our community. Where are you from? Oh, by the way, we do have other activities and other opportunities. Here's my number if you need anything, if you need a job, if you need a place, whatever it is, right? We have these support networks as well. This is what it means to be part of a community. So inshallah, tomorrow we can demonstrate that type of etiquette, which inshallah will be most pleasing to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam. Please recite another salawat. Okay, so brothers and sisters, this is the last night I have to be able to, inshallah, wrap up my topic. The topic that we've been exploring is that of the resurgence of the Jahiliyyah, of the era and lifestyle of ignorance during the time of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and connecting it to the modern time. And we talked about different ways that we saw that type of ignorance in ideology, in practice. And the last topic that we were discussing is something which is so crucial, which is that of the family unit. We have the example of Imam Hussein and his family, and we have the example of others who didn't base their family connections and their family practice on the teachings of the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. The Quran tells us in a promise of God, Surah Rum verse 21, that وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Allah promises that in your marriage there is going to be love and compassion. And then sometimes we ask, well, why is it that in my family there's so much tension, there's so much disagreement, there's stubbornness, there's spite, there's teasing, there's putting down one another. And we can go and ask the Quran this question, where Allah Ta'ala says in Surah An-Nisa, He says, وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. that if you want to, the Mufassirin, the commentators of the Quran, they explain it. They say that these are promises of God, but they're locked up. If you want to know what the lock for that is, the lock for it is that you go and you treat one another well. Ashiruhunna, you have mu'ashara, you have good interactions with one another. Now this family unit is something which is so important, so crucial. We've been talking about the resurgence of the Jahiliyyah. If you remember in the early 90s, we talked about this movement known as the Murji'ah. They had dangerous ideology. They taught people that you can do whatever you want. The judgment is going to be in the hands of God. And as long as you say you're a believer, then you're going to be saved. And we talked about the implications of that. Now, here's something, and this is a point I'm trying to make leading up to the point I want to make for today, that what was the stance of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam during that time when they saw the resurgence of Jahiliyyah? How did they guide families? What did they tell the parents? Did they tell the parents that, oh parents, you don't have to worry about these deviant ideologies and practices and trends in the society around you. Don't worry about it. Let your child be exposed to everything and inshallah they'll find the right way. Everything will be good. Is that the approach they took? No. We're told in hadith, for example, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that when it comes... Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that you go and make sure that you get to your children before the murji'as get to them. And make sure that you teach them the true teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam before they get to them. Otherwise, we're not sure what's going to happen. They told us that we have to take care. Our homes, our schools, our teaching, our education, our upbringing needs to be one where we give them a solid foundation so that when they are exposed to these things, they have a basis to go by. They can say that, no, this is wrong. Right? This is incorrect. I reject this. My identity is one where I can safely and soundly and proudly reject this. I'm not attracted by it. And alhamdulillah, we know that parents try so hard, the community tries so hard to do so many things, whether it be, educational programs at various times during the week, whether it be small group circles, whether it be mentoring, so many things going on. We hear of efforts that are taking place to set up, for example, Islamic schools. We hear of homeschooling efforts. These are amazing. May Allah reward you for all your efforts. But we know that as much work is being put into providing this good foundation, we're facing a problem and a challenge, which is that even our own homes now are no longer a safe haven. Why? Because of the device. And this is something that is concerning all of us. How is it that we can deal with this? And I want to give you, on this evening, a case study. And this is it's a fictitious case study. It's not somebody who's real, but it's just based on all the experiences that I've had interacting with youth and the challenges that they're having when it comes to dealing with the influences from screens and devices. This example, let's give it a fictitious name of Rahima, for example. Okay, it's not anybody in particular. Let's say there's a teenager named Rahima. Rahima, before, she was seen as laughing in her home, very happy. She would talk to her parents, she would play with her siblings. But at a certain point, her parents gave her the iPhone, and they saw that Rahima of the past, who used to be a cheerful member of the household, suddenly that cheerfulness went away. Now she's mostly withdrawn, she's very moody, and at times she even seems to be depressed. What else about Rahima? We see that she is getting thinner and thinner. And she's very concerned about the way she looks. And before, she was very committed to Islamic dress code, and we see that now Rahima is facing challenges when it comes to observing the Islamic dress code. What else is happening to her? We see that before, she had a small group of friends that she used to meet in person a lot and she would be very happy with them. Now she has a large group of friends. She's in touch with so many people. But if you ask her that, do you feel like you have a lot of friends around you? Do you feel like you have good social interaction? She would actually tell you, if she's honest, that actually feel very, very lonely. What else about Rahima is that she recently started doing something called doom scrolling. What is doom scrolling? It's where you just endlessly scroll, especially through things which are disturbing and negative. For example, let's say you are disturbed about the situation of famine in Somalia or the poverty in Yemen. So what do? You go for that topic and you just scroll. You keep on scrolling down, 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 and you keep on going and going, and it's endless. So she got into doing that, and now she's very disturbed. It seems like the whole world's burdens are being put on her back. And when it comes to her ideology, she's also struggling. Why? Because the different social media platforms that she's part of on her phone, they expose her to so many different people's opinions, not facts, opinions, that she believes that we're in a post-truth world. There is no way of finding the truth anymore. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm saying this, and each one of these things, maybe they don't apply to everyone, all teenagers who use social media. But perhaps some of them do. And maybe some of us are dealing with this, or maybe we're looking forward to the future of our children and we're saying that what can we do to prevent this type of thing from happening? So today, brothers and sisters, I want to offer some humble comments to parents and some humble comments to children and youth and other consumers of social media. Inshallah, you can help me with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, on the parents' front, on the parental front, number one is that we really want to encourage parents to be parents and to do the job of parenting. There's a push in the society which says that just let go of this responsibility. Provide materially for your children, and then they'll figure it out on their own. This is not the Islamic paradigm. Islam teaches us that as parents, we have responsibilities. We're going to be asked about them. What is one of those responsibilities? It's prevention before cure. That we don't wait for our children to get into difficult situations and then we worry about how to extricate them from those situations. Just because everyone else gives their child an iPhone on their birthday, these days, I think it's now got into like maybe it's 7 years old birthday, parents are giving. Before it was 9, now it's 7. Just because everyone else is doing it, why do I have to do it? Right? Am I trying to buy the love of my child? Or what is it I'm trying to accomplish by doing this type of thing? Just because others don't have limits and, screen time limits and they're not aware of what their children are watching, why do I have to follow suit? Just because others let their children take their devices into their bedrooms, why do I have to do that? I'm the parent here. I'm in charge. My child might not like everything that I do, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. This is very important, prevention before cure. The second thing is the importance of lifestyle. The brothers and sisters, why is it that we have this lifestyle where the default go-to pastime whenever we get free time is to go on our device and to look at it? Is this the healthy way of living? Is this something that's going to allow us to grow as people of dignity and of ethics and of knowledge? Why is it that sometimes we find in the homes of believers that the central focus of the entire home is that big screen device that's there? And that's where the meals are eaten. That is where most of the entertainment and the family time happens. This isn't the way that it was done in the past. In the past, family time was a time for communication and bonding and love and story time. If you look at statistics in our countries, in the past, they used to spend more time together, for example, on family meals, on the average of 30 minutes a day. And now it's shrinking 20 minutes a day. You know what we're told in hadith? Our sixth Imam alayhi salam says that there are three things that actually increase your life. What are those three things? Number one is when you lengthen your ruku and your sujood, you actually are going to be increased in your lifetime. You're not losing out on time by any means if you lengthen your ruku and your sujood. The second thing, he says that if you spend more time at the sufra, at the tablecloth or the dinner table, your length is actually, your lifespan is actually increased. You're not losing out time. So let's say I spend some time telling stories, I talk to my kids, we say some jokes or whatever, right? Alhamdulillah, right? We're getting blessings, we're making those connections that we talked about yesterday. The souls are connecting and our lifespan is increasing as well. And the third one is when somebody does good to his family, his lifespan increases as well. Imagine how much the Ahlul Bayt wanted us to build these families which are close to each other. But unfortunately, sometimes our lifestyles take us away from this. Islam teaches us that our lifestyle should be centered around ibadah. Tonight, we are commemorating these people who, in the last moments of their life, they spend their time in prayer. But sometimes we look at our lifestyles and we see that prayer is not the central pivot of what we do. If it was, then maybe we would do better in terms of our times. We would do better in terms of praying together and make it be the primary activity that we have. Imagine how much goodness comes about when we as a family pray together. We raise our hands in dua together. I ask my son, oh my son, why don't you say some words of dua from yourself? Oh my daughter, why don't you say some words of dua for yourself? These are such amazing times of bonding together. Nature, right? We're not supposed to be people who are just stuck in our homes, no matter what the National Health Service tells us, right? We're supposed to be out there, right? Enjoying and seeing the signs of God. There's been so much research done about being in nature can help combat what would otherwise be negative mental health effects. So lifestyle is another point that we need to create those lifestyles where devices and technology, we're not saying we want to eliminate them completely. They have some benefits, but it's not the be-all and end-all of what we do. And it starts with the parents. I need to show my children that my device, and especially using it for entertainment, is not my favorite pastime. I have other things that I can do. I'm a human being. Okay, this is very important. And the final point of advice, although we could mention more, but for brevity purposes, is the importance of finesse. My dear parents, when we're working with our children, for example, let's say the parents of Rahima are working with her. They're telling her every day, they're nagging her, they're telling her, get off your phone, right? They're grounding her, they're getting angry, and now the relationship has gotten so bad that there's never anything positive that goes on between them. Brothers and sisters, we have to remember, our great scholars recommend, they say this, that when you're dealing with other people, don't be like an ironsmith who's taking a hammer to a coat of arms. You're dealing with a human soul. A soul is delicate. The work of tarbiyah, of raising souls, is a delicate operation. You have to have a lot of finesse. Right? If the only thing we communicate is what we're upset about, then when is it that our child is ever going to respond to us? We have to understand the challenges that they're facing. They're living in a world which is super difficult. They're being pulled from all these different sides and different angles in ways that maybe as parents we weren't when we were their age. Let's understand that, first of all. Appreciate the good that they have to offer. The same Rahima, yes, she's facing these challenges, but at least she's still praying. At least she's still in the home. At least she's still trying to commit herself to Islamic dress code and so many other good things that maybe we need to go and look at. And on that basis, now we need to connect and say that my beautiful child, right? There's all these other things, but there's one thing that I really want to talk to you about. I want to hear from you. Tell me, why is it that you're so obsessed with this device? What can we do to get you back to a normal, healthy lifestyle? My last comments now are for Rahima and the likes of Rahima. Inshallah, you can help me with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, those of us who may be consuming social media at an alarming rate. We don't have control. Social media controls us. And that's not just the children, it's not just the teenagers. Unfortunately, oftentimes it's found in the adults as well. I just want to mention something here, that social media in the past used to be something which was a way of keeping in touch with contacts, right? You would go and you'd get updates on them, you'd go and click on their profile, and you'd find out what's going on in their lives. Then they switched it. They said that let's put what they called a feed, a news feed, where we're going to reverse chronological order, we're going to say what's happening with your contacts. And then that evolved as well into including not just what your contacts are doing, but also what people are doing in general, what they are going to and what they're looking at and whatnot. And that changed as well. And now, what is the newer social media about? It's about a powerful, extremely powerful engine which gets to know you and curates content to attend to your needs and your desires. And we have to ask ourselves, brothers and sisters, that when somebody knows us and they know our weaknesses, then what can they do to exploit us? We human beings are created to be able to be the Khalifa of Allah on the earth, to be the manifestation of perfection, to be those who the Imams look at and say, I am proud of these people. They are the ones who truly followed our path. But at the same time, Allah says, وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا, that human beings have also been created weak. We have holes in our armor that can be taken advantage of by those who know how to exploit them. And we all know that these engines know how to exploit them. How do they do so? They make use of attracting our low desires. They make use of comparison. We're told in so many traditions that don't compare yourself to those who have more than you in terms of the dunya. Otherwise, it will create grief for you. And what happens, unfortunately, is that this is exactly what social media does for people, especially our young ones, especially our young teenage girls. And they start to view their world as one in which they are always inferior to all these images that are broadcasted to them. Brothers and sisters, when you hear about the word feed, shouldn't we be a little bit like, kind of have a little bit of dignity and say that, who has the right to feed me? And why do they have the right to choose what they want to feed me? This is really important, that I should have some type of position here, that as a human being, I want to have freedom. I don't want to be fed by what other people want to feed me. I want to end here with a story, which inshallah will be an inspiration for all of us. It's a story from one of the great companions of our Imam Ali alayhi salam, Abu al-Aswad ad-Duwali. Abu al-Aswad ad-Duwali was famous for being the father of Arabic grammar. Okay, but there's a very interesting incident. He had a daughter who, just like her father, she was very eloquent. And she was very kind of wanting to do the right thing. She was a lover of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam. So one time, Muawiyah, he starts to target the close companions of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He says that, okay, I want to win them over to my side. So how does he do it? He sends over a tasty dessert to the home of Abu al-Aswad ad-Duwali as a way of kind of buying him out. And when his daughter sees this dessert, she's like, oh, okay, this is good, right? Looks like tasty. She starts to eat it. And then she asks, while she's in there, she says that oh, my father, where did this come from? And he says it came from Muawiyah. And when she heard that, she gasped. And she actually caused herself to take out whatever was in her. And at that point, she composes a poem which now is one of the most famous poems, especially from a child poet of the Arabic literature of the past. What does she say? She say, بِالشَّهْدِ الْمُزَعَّفَرِ يَبْنَ هِنْدٍ نَبِيُّ لَكَ إِسْلَامًا وَدِينًا. O son of Hind, with this dessert which is fragrant with saffron, shall we sell you our Islam and our religion? فَلَا وَاللَّهِ لَيْسَ يَكُونُ هَذَا. This is never going to be the case. وَمَوْلَانَا أَمِيرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, while our Mawla is Amir al-Mu'mineen. So brothers and sisters, remember that when your Mawla is Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, why would you consume anything that anyone else wants to give you? Let's have some dignity. Remember, we have to respond to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam about the blessing that we have, about knowing them. I began this series talking about Jahiliyyah, and I want to end the series by quoting a hadith from Jahiliyyah. This hadith is narrated from Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. She says, Man irtadda anna fa ilal jahiliyyah. Anybody who takes a path away from our path, that is a path towards Jahiliyyah. So inshallah, on this night I ask Allah Ta'ala to always give us that strength, especially our young generation, to follow, take the high road, and to realize that as followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we don't have to be attracted to what everyone else does. Even if we stand alone, we always stand for what's dignified and what's respectable. Tonight is the 10th night of Muharram. It is a night in which we know the companions and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are busy in the worship of Allah. It is a night in which we know that Imam Hussein alayhi salam had gathered his companions, and after praising Allah, he says to them that it seems that tomorrow will be the end. I'm paraphrasing here. It is me that they want. You are the best companions that anyone has known. You are the most loyal. And oh my family members, you are the most tightly knit family that anyone has ever known. But it is not you that they want, it is I that I want. So take the night as cover and you may leave now. I have given you permission. And we see when at this critical moment that not a single member of the camp of Imam Hussein alayhi salam abandons them. But rather one by one they show their loyalty. The first among them is Hadrat Abbas alayhi salam, and then Aun and Muhammad. Imam Hussein turns to the children of Muslim ibn Aqil. He says that you've done enough now. You came all this way. Your father was martyred in the way that he was martyred. It's okay. Your family has represented. You can go. And they said that at this time of need, you want us to leave you, O our uncle? How could we ever do so without lifting a single sword and without participating in battle? Life is worthless without you, O my uncle. The same thing is reiterated by companion after companion. Zuhair ibn Qayn, the great warrior, he says that even if I were to be killed and I were to be raised to life 100 times or more, it would be nothing if I could be killed and you and your family could survive, O Hussein alayhi salam. And rather than his companions abandoning him, we're told that 23 of the enemy camp joins Imam Hussein alayhi salam on this night, when they see that beautiful display of worship and ibadah. But tonight we want to remember the bitter tragedy of the loss of just a baby infant on the sands of Karbala. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. Peace and blessings be upon you, O martyred one on the sands of Karbala, O the one who was beheaded while his lips were thirsty. Peace and blessings be upon you, O son of Fatima, O son of Ali, O pure one, whose sanctity was violated on the day of Ashura. Peace be upon you and upon your infant son, Ali Asghar Abdullah Ar-Radi. There comes a time on the day of Ashura where Imam Hussein alayhi salam looks to the left, he looks to the right. He sees that there is no companion who is there standing with him. He cries out, هَلْ مِنْ ذَابٍ يَذُبُّ عَنْ حَرَمِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Is there anyone to come to the aid of the haram of the Messenger of Allah? هَلْ مِنْ مُوَحِّدٍ فَخَافَ اللَّهُ فِينَا. Is there anyone who believes in God, who will fear Allah for our sake? هَلْ مِنْ مُغِيثٍ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ بِإِغَاثَتِنَا. Is there any helper who has hope in Allah's reward by coming to our assistance? هَلْ مِنْ مُعِينٍ يَرْجُو مَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ فِي إِغَاثَتِنَا. Is there anyone who has hope in Allah's reward, who will come to our aid and rescue? But we know at this time, Muslim ibn Awsaja, Habib ibn Madahir, Burayd ibn Hamadani, all of them have been martyred. We know at this time, Qasim and Ali Akbar and Abbas have been martyred. But at this point, we see that from the tents of the ladies, a cry arises. Why are the ladies crying? Because they know that Imam Hussein alayhi salam is alone. There is no one to come to his rescue. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he comes near the tents. Maybe he wants to pacify them, gives them some solace. But when he comes to them, he sees perhaps that his young baby is being passed from one hand to another. You know, when a baby is distressed, sometimes they say that you take care of him, you take care of him. They're trying to find somebody who can comfort the young baby of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Finally, they give the baby to his aunt Zainab alayhi salam. If anybody can comfort a child, it would be Zainab alayhi salam. So when Imam Hussein comes to the tent, he sees his baby is in the hands of Zainab. He tells her, "Oh my dear sister, ناوليني ولدي الصغير حتى أودعه." Oh my dear sister, give me my young baby boy so I can bid farewell to him. Imam Hussein alayhi salam takes his baby in his arms. How is he going to bid farewell to him? He lowers his head. He wants to place his blessed lips on the neck of his child to bid him farewell. But we see at this point that the enemy is keenly watching. No, could you imagine doing this? Are you going to stoop to this level? Yes, Karbala has no heart. He would even be happy harming a baby. The arrow is flying through the air. Before the lips can reach the neck, the arrow hits the neck. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is standing with his baby on one hand. The blood is flowing into his hands. He passes the body back to Zainab alayhi salam. And he cries out, "The only way I can bear this tragedy is knowing that I am in the eye of Allah. I know that Allah is watching me. He is with me now as He is always with me. I can only be patient knowing I am in the presence of Allah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un." Matam ya Hussein.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.
The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The night is so dark, don't be scared, Asghar. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The night is so dark, don't be scared, Asghar. I hear that they gave you an arrow when all you asked for was some water. Oh, Asghar, you were bathed in blood. Oh, Asghar, you were bathed in blood. The night is so dark, don't be scared, Asghar. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The night is so dark, don't be scared, Asghar. I only want to ask one question. To the waters of River Furat, couldn't you spare some water for my son? Couldn't you spare some water for my son? The night is so dark, don't be scared, Asghar. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The night is so dark, don't be scared, Asghar. Come, let me change your blood-soaked clothes. Let me cradle you in my arms. What did they do to my mujahid? What did they do to my mujahid? The night is so dark, don't be scared, Asghar. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The desert is so quiet, there's a deathly calm. The night is so dark, don't be scared, Asghar. Hai hai masoom, Asghar masoom. Hai hai masoom, Asghar masoom. Sab milke hai hai masoom, Asghar masoom. 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 मैं बुझाऊं, Asghar मैं तेरी माँ हूँ. आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं. Asghar मैं तेरी माँ हूँ. आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं. Asghar मैं तेरी माँ हूँ. आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं. Asghar मैं तेरी माँ हूँ. आ जाओ चांद मेरे, तेरी प्यास मैं बुझाऊं. Asghar मैं तेरी माँ हूँ. मेरे लाडले कहाँ हो, मेरे लाडले कहाँ हो, सीने तुम्हें میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، تیرے جھولے کو سکینہ رو رو کے چومتی ہے، تجھے رنگ میں ڈھونڈتی ہے، تیری موت کی خبر میں کیسے اسے سناؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، بیٹا تمہارا قاتل میرے سامنے کھڑا ہے، جانے کیوں ہنس رہا ہے، چادر بھی لٹ گئی ہے، منہ کس طرح چھپاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، نیزے سے گر رہا ہے ننھا سا سر تمہارا، دل روتا ہے ہمارا، میرے ہاتھ تو بندھے ہیں، سر کس طرح اٹھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، جب رات ہوگی رن میں ہو جائے گا اندھیرا، ڈرنا نہیں ہے بیٹا، دادی کہے گی تم سے، آ میں تجھے سلاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، لگتا ہے ماں سے اصغر ناراض ہو گیا ہے، مقتل میں سو گیا ہے، ڈھونڈوں کہاں میں اس کو اور کس طرح جگاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، آ جاؤ چاند میرے، تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، میدان میں جا کے جرت بھی ایسی تم دکھانا، غازی ہی نظر آنا، تو پیاس میں ہے پر میں پانی کدھر سے لاؤں، اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں، میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں آ جاؤ چاند میرے تیری پیاس میں بجھاؤں اصغر میں تیری ماں ہوں
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
یا حسین
کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا 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 اصغر سے بے زباں کی زندہ دلی تو دیکھو آل نبی کے گھر کا کم سنجری تو دیکھو پہلے شہید ہو کر بابا کو بچائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا اصغر 6 month baby pleading for just some water yet he received an arrow his next drink would be Kauthar his father stood there helpless bathed in the blood of slaughter کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا 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 اکبر سے نوجوان سینے پہ برچی کھا کر رخ موڑ دیا کیسے بابا کو منہ دکھا کر کیسے ضعیف بابا برچی کو نکالے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے 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 گا Qasim rode out to battle he cried out to the enemy I am the son of Hassan yet they showed such brutality trampled him with the horses his body left in pieces Karbala ki kahani jab کوئی بھی سنائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا کربل کی کہانی جب کوئی بھی سنائے گا یا حسین
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات
Please prepare for Salah.
سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا وأولاده المعصومين بالحق حجج الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وسلم.
أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن علي ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار واحشرنا مع الأبرار. وصل على محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف الذليل الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والنجاة من النار ومن كل بلية والفوز بالجنة والرضوان في دار السلام وجوار نبيك محمد عليه وآله السلام. اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن علي ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. سبحان الله ولا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. سبحان الله الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا ولي العافية نسألك العافية، عافية الدين والدنيا والآخرة. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. صلوا على محمد وآل Muhammad. The announcements for tonight are as follows. Tomorrow, being the day of Ashura, the main program will start at 10:30 a.m. with Amals, Salat at 1:12 p.m., Marthiyah, Majlis, Matam and Niyaz. A parallel program will be here in the marquee at the same time. Tomorrow, please pray the 4 rakat Salat in units of 2 rakats before coming to the mosque. The actual Amal will start at 10:30 a.m. inshallah. The first unit in the first rakat after Surah Al-Hamd recite Surah Al-Kafirun, and in the second rakat after Surah Al-Hamd recite Surah Al-Ikhlas. In the second unit in the first rakat after Surah Al-Hamd recite Surah Al-Ahzab, and in the second rakat after Surah Al-Hamd Surah Al-Munafiqun. Majlis will be held on Ashura Day at North Watford Qabristan starting at 5 p.m. All are requested to attend. It is going to be quite hot, so please come prepared with hats or water bottles as necessary. The annual Majlis at Woodcock Hill Cemetery during Ashura Day will also be tomorrow, Tuesday 9th August. This will also be at 5 p.m. A humble request to Mu'mineen to please car share as much as possible and follow the instructions of the car marshals. The Ladies Yard team are inshallah holding the annual Shab-e-Pursa program on Friday 26th August starting at 7 p.m. with Niyaz. Guest reciters include the Hashim sisters, Rahmani sisters, Fatima Ladak, Fatima Damani and our very own Yard students. Please attend in large numbers. Muharram Niyaz Fund is open. Please donate generously at the Treasury desk. Membership subscriptions can be paid at the desk or online. And as you know, we are still working towards our future at Hujjat Hairfield. Please donate at the treasurer's desk, in the gents and the ladies, or via the Hairfield ambassadors tables. Any recitation requests can be emailed to recite@hujjat.org. Please respect our neighbors by not blocking their driveways. And a car parking announcement. Once the rugby and centre car parks are full, overflow will be in the Mandir rear grass area. Please follow guidance from the CPV and cooperate with them fully. If you are parking in the Mandir grass area, please ensure you vacate by 10:30 p.m. Kindly refrain from smoking or littering in their grounds. Please pay £1 for parking in Rugby and Mandir. We'll now have Isha Dua followed by Ziyarat and Tabarruk. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إنه ليس لي علم بموضع رزقي، وإنما أطلبه بخطرات تخطر على قلبي، فأجول في طلبه البلدان، فأنا فيما أنا طالب كالحيران، لا أدري أفي سهل هو أم في جبل، أم في أرض أم في سماء، أم في بر أم في بحر، وعلى يدي من ومن قبل من، وقد علمت أن علمه عندك وأسبابه بيدك، وأنت الذي تقسمه بلطفك وتسببه برحمتك. اللهم فصل على محمد وآله، واجعل يا رب رزقك لي واسعا، ومطلبه سهلا، ومأخذه قريبا، ولا تعنني بطلب ما لم تقدر لي فيه رزقا، فإنك غني عن عذابي، وأنا فقير إلى رحمتك. فصل على محمد وآله، وجد على عبدك بفضلك، إنك ذو فضل عظيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين، وعلى 9 المأسومين من ذريتك، علي بن الحسين، ومحمد بن علي، وجعفر بن محمد، وموسى بن جعفر، وعلي بن موسى، ومحمد بن علي، وعلي بن محمد، والحسن بن علي، والحجة بن الحسن، عجل الله فرجه وسهل الله مخرجه وظهوره. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة بن الحسن، صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة، وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Sorry brothers, just an update to the announcement. Tomorrow the namaz will be doing together in the ELC. If you're doing Amal in the ELC, so you don't have to do it before you come. We'll be doing it together inshallah.